gonna have to cut it out because you can probably already see it, and you've been talking about it. So like that's hilarious, but now you can't. You don't want that on the internet. That's funny. I don't know what you want to do. I think you need to make your mind up here. Am I gonna go?
I want to make you proud, actually. So that's my goal.
Welcome to the first episode of Is That Deep Enough?
It is. It is. It always is.
It is.
And then you go deeper and you go, wait, I was not actually deep at all.
For this first episode, we asked ChatGPT, give us 5 deep, thought-provoking questions, and we're going to go back and forth.
I'm Cosmic Boogey Man.
And I'm Baldie TV.
What's going on? Let's go.
So number 1, it's going to you.
All right.
What is the nature of consciousness, and how does it arise from the physical activity of the brain?
What? Okay, so consciousness. This is how I have always interpreted it to be, from what I can understand things. Consciousness is just basically the engine that drives you. It's the logic. If something's broken, something's off, like if our mental state is disconnected, like when someone has a mental break, it's like a vehicle. Like something's wrong with your vehicle, your car, engine, transmission, something's wrong with it. Our consciousness is that vehicle that's driving us. Our soul is the driver. Our soul has always been driving us. So I think our consciousness is that vehicle that gets us there. Our body is just that shell, as you would call it. That's really what gives us that ability to go to places. But inside, when we get into accidents, that's our broken arm. That's like we just banged up our fender. So consciousness is just the engine that gets us there and says, like, I cannot get to 130 miles an hour. It's impossible. That's your brain and your logic and your consciousness telling you stop. We, as the drivers, have the ability to say, I think this car could actually hit 300 miles an hour in the right conditions of jumping. What was the other half of that? There was something else.
So that was the nature. How does it arise from the physical activity of the brain?
I think we're limited by the capacity of the brain, and there's a disconnect, and that's the part of the subconscious. So I don't want to get too much into it. I don't know what the other question is here, but I would like to think that it's like we have a hand on the steering wheel, but we don't know what's going on under that engine. We don't know what's going on in that transmission. We know an activity is happening between all of those, and all we're doing is pressing the gas, and we feel a vibration in the whole vehicle. However, we cannot connect that quite yet. And as a universe, we're starting to feel that vibration actually happen. That's why we're kind of getting out of our vehicles. We're riding, we're walking, we're talking, we're meeting more people. We're realizing that in the 80s, there was a purpose to us all hanging out, chilling, talking, and not coming home. It wasn't a punishment. When you get kicked out, it wasn't a punishment. It was us exploring the world. So I think that's kind of, we're trying to get back out of our vehicles of life. So what do you got here? What's your question?
Number 2 here was
wait, what do you think? Hold on. What do you think?
I mean, so what I was gonna
hold on. I want to know what you think.
I was gonna say to come off. I think your brain, how I took that. Yeah. What is the nature of consciousness? How does it arise from physical activity of the brain? I think your brain limits you a lot in telling you can't do things. Your brain is like a trickster.
Yeah.
Really, like in the most basic terms, like your brain's like just a tricky character, just a kind of a slick dude,
mm-hmm.
You know, where you'll be like jazzed up, hey, I'm going to go do this. And there's that little voice like, oh, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Right.
You're not going to do it. And so that kind of like, in that sense, I'm just looking at strictly physical activity from that. That's where I'm like, the brain, like you don't want to work out. Like your brain can tell you, you know, your brain can trick you into thinking that like it was a good idea for you to slack off and do some bullshit. When in reality,
right, like you climb one rung of a ladder, the next you can't see 5 rungs ahead because you can only see from your perspective a couple rungs up, but you know you're tired, and
your brain's like, it's not that far of a drop.
It's not that.
And
far.
We put a mattress on the bottom.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna be fine.
Right. So there is a connection there somehow, and then there's that inside voice that says you are not giving up. Are you honestly giving up right now?
Yeah.
Are you giving up? Yeah, right. There's an inside voice that says, "Why are you giving up? What are you doing climbing a ladder in the first place to just give up halfway up? Yeah, you'll fall, but then you'll be down there going, why did I just climb halfway up a ladder?
Yeah.
But why do you do that then? Why do you get on the ladder in the first place? Or why do you physically go do this or start an exercise program and quit? Why do we go, we're going to do it, and then quit to only make ourselves feel like we let ourselves down?
Mm.
Is it the letdown, or is it the consciousness that's saying, I'm teaching you a lesson? Like we're getting punished by something.
It could be just I don't know if the word's entitlement or if it's just there's like a level of comfort nowadays, especially where like you have the ability to just kind of fuck off and it's okay. Like you'll be fine.
It is, yeah.
You can skate by and be fine. Like
Yes.
nothing's actually actually a real problem.
You will fall onto a mattress. Consciousness is saying, you treat yourself so harshly sometimes, and it's okay. Like we put ourselves through college and all this hard work, and then we get to the end of our lives, like where I'm starting to roll into that point and going like, money just comes to me. If I just relax and let myself enjoy my world and just enjoy, money comes to me. And I'm not saying this to be bolsterous or just like point it out, but it's just like it will happen because you're not trying to chase it. If you stop chasing money, or you stop chasing what you so want, it will come to you. What's the next question?
Let me just check and make sure we're still recording.
We have to be.
I think so. Yeah, we are. Hey,
we're back after commercial break. That was.
We have to just check and make sure we're recording.
Gem and M's.
So the second question, which this will go to me, but I'll read it because Cosmic here is limited in the vision department, which is why he's so mystical in everything that he does.
That's so true.
The second question is there a meaning or purpose to life, or do we create our own meaning in an inherently meaningless universe? Ooh, that's a really good question. Is there a meaning, or do we create our own? I think we create our own. I think the universe in itself is relatively meaningless. When you look at the scale of it and also looking at what we know to be out there, which is jack shit. So, and that's just a small fraction of it. So in my mind, like when you look at your own life, like, in a way it makes it so that there is no meaning at all. Mm-hmm. If you look at it from the super cosmic perspective of, oh, we're just a little rock. But so that's why it's like it's good to have your own personal identity there in that regard and what you want to be doing, because that drives you. Like you can, especially now, it's like I don't know what it was like when everybody needed to work and everybody needed to kind of do something and provide. Because nowadays, like you could do nothing. Actually, you could actually be born and do nothing and live to 80, having done nothing and be completely taken care of.
Well, people are doing that, and they're calling it homelessness. And not for nothing, those people are homeless. And I'm not dismissing those people, but people that are homeless, those people are living freer than people who are saying I have 4 mortgages. And in that respect, I have a lot of like envy of that free ability that they have. And people look down on that as pity. I'm not trying to cut you off, but that is so right. You're 100%.
Well, it mimics like that type of lifestyle, like mimics what humans were actually put here to
foraging.
Do. However, quit putting up a tent in my McDonald's parking lot,
Right, and then it crosses over to that socialized society where we're like, whoa, why are these people doing this? Why are they crossing into the civilized world? And we're kind of finding ourselves making a choice in this civilized society. I'm not paying your $4,500 mortgage anymore.
Yeah.
And that's where like your generation's going, mortgages are crazy. And we're starting to split our worlds. There's an inside voice that we use, and we're starting to honor what that voice is telling us. That voice is telling us stuff. And we're like, you know what? You're actually right. That inside voice that we all have, everybody, doesn't matter who's listening to this, you all have it. We all have the inside voice that tells us stuff. Life or death. That person's chasing you down the alley, going to kill you. And I mean going to kill you. That voice is telling you which way you're going next. That voice is your inner person. That's my cosmic boogeyman. That's who it is. I have my outer voice, my civilized, socialized person who I come across as my person. But we have our inner voice. That voice is the one who is like, listen, I'm going to talk to you about some real hard things. And that's when you go cry and you listen to that person. And that person's going to tell you that you have this inner world that's just screaming to be let out. And that's what's happening with this internet revolution and with AI. We're starting to see you can't put barriers on everything forever. That's why gender identity and all the gender identities happening, because this has been happening for many, many years, and you can't stop it from coming out. I would like to believe that we have our own worlds, and people used to call it main character syndrome. But yeah, we all are. Yes, you are your own main character. Congratulations. Welcome to your show. This is how it should be. You live your best life. You should be focusing on your best reality. And I think that's what this second question is asking us. Are you focusing on your happiness? If you want to live miserable, then that's your show. Your show is about miserable. My show is about happy. Your show is about miserable. Your show is about chasing the almighty dollar. That's what it is. Nobody's claiming to tell you what you should do, but when someone comes on to your main character show and says, this is what your main character is now doing, toxicity. And that's when you start to realize something more is happening in this world. I feel like we're all starting to recognize that and wake up to this and say, something's off. But nothing's off. We're just waking up. That's what's really happening. I don't know. Am I wrong? I could be. I could be very wrong.
Yeah, I think people take advantage of leverage in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And so that's where the main character syndrome comes from, I think, is like, this motherfucker like screwed me over because he thinks he's hot shit.
Yeah.
Whereas the main character, you should think of your life should come first.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I read tarot, but I will not charge someone. I will never charge someone. But my tarot ability has gotten so much better because in my main character situation, I have gotten an ability that's been more unlocked. As we all have our skills. You want to learn a new ability. It's a skill. It is. You learn a language. Like my nephew here, he's unlocked skills and abilities. He does it like he's gaining points, but he's doing it in his own world. And people try to command him and tell him what he's doing. He's like, no. He's leveled up faster than anyone around him than adults. The point is, you're doing the same thing. And you're just being limited by people around you telling you cannot do. And that's what I love seeing when posts come out and say, I'm going to have $1 million this time next year. I'm like, yes, you will. You 100% will. Because that's you. That's your planning on it. That means you're getting that money. It will come to you. That's kind of how you roll. I choose to live in a chilled, relaxed environment, and that's what I do. It's kind of how you want to roll. So, what's our next question?
So the third one, how do our beliefs and biases shape our perception of reality, and how can we overcome them to gain a more objective understanding of the world?
Ooh. So that's kind of piggybacks off that last question, though. Because if we look at our reality, is our reality or everyone else's reality? Or are we just forming our realities together to one reality?
How much of your reality is based on watching somebody else?
Right.
Yeah.
So I know when you leave me and you go to your own direction, your reality no longer has my reality in it. At this moment, in this time that we're recording this and you were watching this, our realities are now formed, all of us. Anyone that now has watched this, our realities have now merged. Doesn't matter time, because time's irrelevant because you're not watching the time, so don't look at it. But the point is, at the time we're doing this and you're looking, our realities have merged. I look at those kind of things as the synchronistic showing of something. Like you'll probably see like some kind of like time synchronized. It's your reality saying, hey, you did it. You're actually taking notice. Your universe is lining up. So your reality is what you're making of it. You're either taking control of the wheel and driving, or you're giving over control to someone else. And you're either going to be the passenger, the backseat driver, or be putting in the trunk and you're taking abuse from somebody. So I think that our realities they're yours, but they're ours combined when we want to bring them together. And you think about a group of people that bring a reality together, it can be a scary and frightening thing, but a really powerful thing. Think about somebody who has the same mentality and ideal, like freeing your mind and getting whatever you want. Manifestation is real. I'm just going to tell you, it 100% is real. But imagine someone saying, I can show you how to do it. It's not a quick thing, but I can show you how to do it. Imagine that. That's the thing. People that are trying to quick sell you videos are just trying to upsell themselves. You're doing it for yourself, but that's your reality. If they want to believe in their world, they can upsell fast. I'm not saying they can't. That's their reality. My reality hasn't shifted to connect to theirs, where I have learned that skill yet. if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
You can offer up what you know.
I can offer what I have known. I've learned.
Absolutely.
It's a skill, and I think that's where, like, so before the question got posed, how did you feel? Like when you sat down, and someone said, "What do you feel about reality?" Just generically.
Guess I got to get deep. This is I don't really think about this really.
I know.
I don't really think about this ever. This isn't a part of my reality. My reality
Right?
isn't thinking about my reality.
I know it's shocking your world, because then we talk about UFOs.
Right now, it's just been
right,
like,
UFOs, other aliens, other life forms coming in, which is amazing if we think about it.
yeah, it's cool, but like,
If we look at it as a negative, it's a negative. If we look at those other life forms of coming into our world as a positive, and we become as a whole ecological life system of evolving as Earth is now becoming, put it as a great evolutionary, I would say not problem, but like foothold on the map. Like this is the moment in our universe where we say, hey, that's the time we actually became universally known.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's where our realities are having a very hard time. Because some people are like, no. And as that generation dies off, there's the newer generation, like you and my kids and even younger students and kids. They see the UFOs and they say, yeah, that's real. To them, it's like, yeah, of course it's real. But like older generation, like they say, no, it's not real. It's fake. Because they can't buy that reality. Because the reality is now becoming a more and more into our world. That's why I'm saying to you, what do you see? If someone said to you just simply about reality or UFOs, what do you see?
About UFOs?
Yeah.
Whether I think they're real or not?
Yes.
It's like one of those things where it doesn't really concern me. It doesn't really matter.
But do you think they exist?
I think it's
no. I'm not judging.
I think
no one's judging.
I don't. Yeah.
Like, no one's judging. We're just saying. Do you think?
Stop judging me.
Stop. Hey.
Can you stop?
Stop.
Let me get it out. I know what I want to say. All right. You keep your mouth shut. Thank you.
Oh. What's your name?
What's an alien? No, I'm kidding. I think you're crazy to think they're not real.
Right.
Sorry, guys. I think you're a little crazy. But I don't think I'm not one of those people where I sit inside and it's like one of these days the beam is going to come down.
So, what about your grandfather? Like, so his grandfather, Navy veteran, and we never brought this question up, and this is why I'm asking him right now. What would you say if we asked your grandfather and said, hey,
what do you think?
What would Grampy say? As we would always ask.
I think he'd probably be like, probably, but who cares? It's that generation's very much like, who cares?
Who cares?
I got mine.
He's got his
The
own.
boomers are, I got mine.
Right? So
that's it. So.
And what about if his father was still alive?
Yeah. I mean, you've either seen him at that period of time, because I feel like my perspective is they were coming around a lot before, but you couldn't record them. So now they don't come around that much because they know that you can record them. And anytime you see them, it's just a crash or they're like fucking with a plane.
See? So we'll talk about this again. Well, I don't want to sidestep, but my point is reality is what you make of it. And there's probably some of you out there like, hey, I think that's just the government or this and that playing games. And it probably is. Who knows? From your reality's perspective, it could be. And from this perspective, it couldn't be. Or it's just both. And who knows? The truth will eventually come out. We all know it. All right. What's
even next? Like religion, like your reality is different if you're a different religion, but those realities coexist.
All right. So what's the next question? I don't even know whose question actually is.
This can be. I'll take it.
All right.
What is the relationship between free will and determinism? Are our actions predetermined by factors beyond our control, or do we have the ability to make truly independent choices?
That's a good one too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I believe in free will. But I think there's a mix of both there, because I believe in everything happens for a reason, but I also believe that you can like do everything you can to change an outcome.
That is crazy.
You know, in your own life, like you can think back to like putting in maximum effort at a task and like seeing it through, and how is that, you know?
It is true.
Because like there's an extra gear you have to hit, and so the argument would be, oh well, they knew you were going to hit that extra gear. Like that was predetermined that your extra gear would be hit on that particular day.
Oh, we knew that was in there. That was hidden.
That was pre-coded. Your extra gear was pre-coded in there. And we knew that on April 6, 2007, when you were trying to get those two Lego pieces unstuck, that you were going to be able to rip them apart. right? It had nothing to do with you just being like, okay, I need to take a deep breath and I'll be able to go at these Lego pieces.
Yeah.
It was nope. We knew you would be playing with them. We knew Legos would be around before they even knew Legos would be around, and then we knew that you'd try to rip them apart, which is tough task.
So how do you feel when those two Legos come apart? That's kind of the question that ends up coming out too. Like, what happens with those Legos, or the situation after those Legos come apart? I mean, and I'm just talking like in the long term. What happens with someone who says, "Oh, those Legos did," after all those years? And I know it's a metaphorical question, but those Legos that you could never get apart, finally you did it. Does that affect this question? That person going back to this question and saying, "Hey, Legos apart." I look at the question again.
Well, yeah, it's an independent choice to pull the Legos apart.
Okay, that's basically, I guess, I wanted to see what you'd say.
Yeah. All right, last one, and then we'll wrap it up. I hope we didn't get too deep.
We never.
You have to tell us: was
that
deep enough?
Yeah, is it deep enough? He wants to go deeper.
We can go deeper
because we will always leave comments open. You can literally flame us if you want. I don't care,
and we will.
That's your choice. This is what I'm saying. That's your reality. Bring it on if you want to support us.
But also, hey, we'll kill you if you leave a mean comment. So I just want to also make that clear, right? It's your reality, but my reality is
revenge,
right? Yeah,
I'm
it's a dish best served what? Ice cold. Ice cold.
Listen to this guy. All right, go to this next question.
Final question here.
God damn.
How can we reconcile the existence of suffering and evil with the idea of a... Yeah.
You're reading this question.
I didn't read it.
No, keep going. Read this from the beginning. See? The universe,
How can we reconcile the existence of suffering and evil with the ideas of a benevolent and all-powerful deity? Is it possible to have a rational and coherent understanding of both?
Yes.
So I'll let you go for that.
Yeah. This is kind of one of those questions I have always tussled with. When I want to get into a deep conversation, I always say, can you have good without evil? Can you have evil without good? If you have just a world of all evil, what would people always say? No. You can't live in that. But I would say, no, you would already be evil, so it wouldn't matter. Or I would say, can you be in a world of all good? People say, oh, yeah. I would say your world would be just boring. You would just be focused on just one thing. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but people would say there is evidence to show people who grow from negative have become more beneficial to society. And that, I can tell you, is a very, very big thing. People who have come out of prison, those people have become very powerful and beneficial people to society because on a soul level, they've been challenged to do something like that. I feel like you have to have good with evil. Do I say I enjoy watching what happens on the evil side of things? No. But look at something, say, like Ukraine. You had a big country like Russia go in and try to take over Ukraine. This is not a political statement, but my point is, I had a conversation predicted the fact that Ukraine would withstand the attack. I'm not going to tell you anything more, but my point would be that you have that stand to show of the negative dictatorship that you have in Russia that's happening, the withstanding of the Russian people, and an upheaval that's happening. That's a more of a vibrational thing that's happening. People look at it as a war. Yes, the money's happening. It is a big negative exchange that's happening because of finances that happen. Money's exchanged. However, on a positive level, we have let the Ukraine thing slide, and we all had our little Ukraine flags. We stand with Ukraine. That has not changed. Ukraine, this is still happening. And if you notice, vibrationally, we have given up on them and stopped supporting them, but the war is not over. Nothing is ended. I challenge people to say, if we look at evil, we look at good, why did we give up on them if we want good to prevail? That's a good example why I point that out. When 9/11 happened here, I could vibrationally feel the love that happened. And on 9/12, when I woke up, I could feel the love that happened. It was nothing like I could feel it now. If anyone's alive, and I mention this, you can know what I'm talking about. When you woke up and you started to see those flags, it was like nothing I've ever experienced ever. And I've not to this day. It was like experiencing 1,000 births of your first child. You could do no wrong by anybody. Everybody in the United States was your friend. I'm getting choked up talking about it. It was so powerful. If we could capture that and spread that worldwide, wow, that would be so amazing. There would be no war. It was the beginning of a very negative time for us as a world. I really wished I understood what I was about to feel. We have to have good with evil. However, I would like to think we're heading into a more positive time because we've been in a real negative time for a long period of years. So, with good has to come evil, and with evil has to come good. I have a feeling we're about to head into a very peaceful time over the next 10 to 30 years. And I don't say that very lightly because we've had a lot of negativity with wars in Afghanistan and negative government activity that's being exposed here in the U.S., and we're calling it out. We're actually calling out that activity. Those kind of things, we're heading into a new election where it's going to be pointed out. The aliens, the UFOs, why? Why was this hidden? These kind of things are positives. We shouldn't look at them as negatives. Look at them as a very good thing that we're taking a step forward as a world and a society and saying, we are better than this. I think those things are becoming very monumental for us. And this is the only reason I'm coming on camera now. It's the only reason I'm like, I want to be part of this. My nephew's the one who actually coaxed me into helping and do this, but without good, you can't have evil. And I think we're here to now help bring this new world and generation up and say, you guys are going to be amazing. The kids, your kids of kids, are going to be the most amazing children. This generation is spoke for themselves. They do for others, but they also do for themselves. And people think of it as a negative, but they're from another generation of Gen Xers who have been very independent. And I witnessed it. They're speaking for themselves because we had to live for ourselves. That's why I want to do this. It's more so they're saying no more. We basically want to let you guys know this is how it is. That's why he's so negative, saying don't speak ill, just look at the positives. If you have criticism, please let us know.
But like I said, we will end your life if you criticize the show. So just don't do it, right? That was beautiful. But the thing is, right, we'll figure out where you live and we'll take your ass down.
But what if you can't find them?
See, I don't play by what ifs.
What if you
and I don't play no. Where
hot.
There's a will, there's a way.
Like physically hot.
I am. We're about to end. The sun came out.
He's sitting in the sun.
Evil sun burning me here, and I just once again want to remind. No, I want vengeance
for nobody, for something nobody did.
Well, they're gonna do it now, and just know there'll be a friggin' response. All right,
don't do it.
Hey,
listen. Hey. Oh my God!
You understood any of what he said? Comment down below.
Comment from me, not for this.
But don't comment at all. I don't want to see any comments. But please leave a comment, like,
subscribe.
Let us know if that was deep enough.
Only subscribe if you want to. I'm one of those people. I'm like you. I won't subscribe just for fun.
But if you don't, if you watch this and don't subscribe, we will know,
and hey,
things will get serious.
Straight up.
So, peace
out.